Hello, and thank you for joining us for this Clackamas County Emergency Operations Center update. The COVID-19 pandemic has gone on much longer than any of us would have ever thought. And the stressors from this pandemic, as well as life in general, continue to weigh heavy on us. Joining us today is Jacob Reese from Clackamas County's Safe and Strong to provide us with some information on how Safe and Strong can help us get through this pandemic. Thank you for joining us today, Jacob.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
How can Clackamas County Safe and Strong help residents as we endure this long pandemic? And what type of help can your team provide our residents?
Yeah, that's a great question. Clackamas Safe and Strong is a program where trained outreach workers are providing free mental health support to residents of Clackamas County who are struggling even a little bit with some of these effects that we know people are experiencing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. What this looks like is having access to an outreach worker who can assist you with understanding what a typical stress response might look like for any person living through a global pandemic. And then, of course, helping us think about ways we might be able to effectively reduce the stress that we're experiencing in our day-to-day life. And in addition to direct mental health support, Safe and Strong workers are also trained to assist people with considering other resources that might be available, such as peer support, or maybe access to mental health counseling that could also better address needs as they come up during your work with an outreach worker through the Safe and Strong program.
When should somebody reach out to Clackamas Safe and Strong for help and support?
Yeah, great question about timing specifically. We think that a person should definitely consider reaching out to our Safe and Strong program for help when they notice they are struggling, maybe with some challenging feelings, such as increased fear, anger, loneliness, isolation. If someone's noticing that they're having a difficult time concentrating or making decisions, even getting out of bed seems like a bit of an extra struggle maybe in the morning. Or if a person is feeling fatigued and tired all the time in a way that's a bit unusual. Some other folks might also experience significant changes in their eating habits. Maybe folks are using substances differently than they're used to doing because of the added stress of the pandemic. We think that these might all be signs or indications that a person could be dealing with a lot of extra stress than they're used to facing in their day-to-day life. And maybe that's the right time to reach out for a bit of extra support.
Could an individual reach out to Safe and Strong if they don't necessarily need help themselves, but they realize that there's somebody in their life who might need a little extra help?
Yes, absolutely. We know that it can be very difficult to support those who are close to us, such as partners or family members or friends, and especially when those folks are struggling with some of the aspects of this pandemic. Outreach workers from Safe and Strong are absolutely trained to talk with people about the experiences their loved ones are having and how to best effectively help or support them through this pandemic. I think the unique thing that we're all experiencing with this pandemic is this experience that we're all in this together. So even if folks are calling in on behalf of their loved ones or family members, we also recognize that the person calling is also experiencing this pandemic as well and might be having their own unique process with dealing with some added stressors. So we are going to do our very best to support anyone who is calling in to get some support for themselves, even if that means coaching callers on how to best support their family members or loved ones with these effects of the pandemic that we're all experiencing.
How can people help themselves during this difficult time?
We like to encourage folks to do whatever they can for their own mental health at this time. And we do have some recommendations, some ideas about things you can do to support yourself through this pandemic. We believe it's important to maintain a routine, particularly if you are still working from home, or if you don't have any employment currently because of maybe things that have happened over the COVID-19 pandemic. We know that employment or school or some of these routines that we often find ourselves in can support a structure for our day-to-day life. And in the absence of having that structure, that's when we might start experiencing some difficult mental health symptoms. It's also really important to attend to our basic self-care right now. Please keep drinking plenty of water if you can. Consider eating foods that make your body feel healthy and well. and try to limit screen time prior to going to bed so that you can ensure you're getting the best night's rest possible. We also know that physical activity, being creative, finding ways to laugh, and engaging in practices such as meditation, deep breathing, or prayer, these all can help support a reduction in stress. To whatever extent we can, we're encouraging folks to please reach out for help if that's something you're able to do. Please try to look ahead and know that your healing has some purpose for the future, and try to accept the change that we're all going through. Do your best to accept what you can't control so we can keep trying to focus on what we can control right now. And again, I want to remind folks what we can control are some of those self-care basics, maintaining our routines, trying to maintain connection to loved ones and family members. And again, that option to reach out to us if you want any additional support to talk more about ways to help yourself through this pandemic.
Those are some great reminders, Jacob. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thank you again for having me.
If you would like to learn more about Clackamas Safe and Strong and how they can help you and your loved ones, please visit our website. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.